Hi there, Stephanie Bryan, Garden Girl at Two Peas in a Bucket here with you today for the next video in the Capture series, which are just capturing the everyday stories. For my Project Life video today, I'm going to do something a little bit different and step outside of the box and do a few pages in my art journal, still using a Project Life feel or Project Life page protector, but I'm going to use my art journal instead of my big Project Life album. So this is my art journal. It is the Dear Lizzie, I think it's the Polka Dot Party canvas album from last year. And here you can just see, I just use it for a few random pages. It's kind of whatever I feel like doing. If I'm in the mood to do something or I have a favorite photo but don't want to necessarily do a whole page, I'll just add some fun thoughts in my art journal. And since this month's theme is history and heritage, I'm going to be using a large photo and then that Project Life page protector you can see there, as well as a piece of white cardstock that I've trimmed down to be the exact same size as my page protector. And the history and the heritage theme, I'm going to be documenting some memories of my mom and myself and some things I remember about her. Some of you may know, some of you may not, but I lost my mom when I was 19. So I have lots of memories of her through my teenage years, but not so many as a child. So for this looking back type of project I want to do, I just want to reflect on some things I remember about her as a child, just some memories that I have, and really just get them down on paper. So they're there, my children can read them about them one day, I can go back and read them about them one day, and I just thought it would be fun to do with this month's theme. So I have some printables. Those are Wilderness printables. I've printed them, some on vellum that I used for my previous video here at Two Peas, and then some on white cardstock. And then here's kind of how I'm thinking it's going to look in my album. I'm going to have a full page photo on the right hand side, and then a piece of white cardstock. Have something a little bit busy on the right and something a little bit more neutral on the left. So this is a photo of my mom as a child, and I think I'm going to add that to the page on the left. And then here is a page protector. This is one that came with this Dear Lizzie Polka Dot Party canvas album that I'm using as my art journal. And I'm going to add in those cards and then that photo of my mom right there into this pocket. So this is just your typical Project Life page protector. It's obviously smaller. I think this is like 6x8 or something like that. And it has the 4 3x4 pockets. But my cards here are 3x3. So I think I'm going to add and just play around with the size a little bit. Maybe add my a few of these cards and different photos. I think I have a photo on this side and then the other one on the white cardstock. But I'm just kind of playing around and getting a good feel for how I want the colors. I like that feel, the sun, the black text. And I want to add a little bit of gold to this page because I think I'm going to add a little bit of gold on the left hand, the white cardstock with that photo. I think I'm going to add a little gold glitter tape on that side. So I'm thinking I can kind of tie in the gold on this side. So I'm just going to slip these in the pocket here. And I'm actually going to trim off an inch from the top and an inch from the bottom because I don't want there to be any extra space. And this is fun to do if you have like a little mini album or something, just to vary up your sizes and your cards and your photos. So I'm going to trim it there, and then I'm going to trim it an inch at the bottom, and I'm making sure my holes are still in there so I don't really have to do anything, repunch those holes. So I'm just going to play off the holes that are already there. So I have my cards in there, and I put my cards in first just to make sure that they are I'm cutting at the right spot, that I'm not cutting too high or too low, and it just makes the process easier. And what I'm doing right this second is my sewing machine is right beside me, and I'm just gonna run over and sew a straight line, which I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so you can see here, It's not the straightest line, but it's definitely sewn. So I just followed the bottom pieces of that bottom piece of paper and that bottom photo, and I just sewed a line right along the bottom. And that then trimmed it. It makes it easier to trim it out and make sure you're getting a good straight trim if you have something to kind of follow, and I don't have to worry about the slots being too small. So you can see there, it doesn't really mess up anything, and I wanted the picture that's going to be on the back side, the large picture of my mom, to kind of show through a little bit. So you'll be able to see a little bit of the top and a little bit at the bottom. And I'm just going to play with what we have left here, a couple of these little printables. I don't have too many photos of my mom that I wanted to include in this pocket. I have just that one of her there, and then the one of her as a child, and the one of us together. And just to give you a quick tip of how I printed off these photos and everything, basically it is a scanned photo one of them is a scanned photo that I printed out and turned it to grayscale in my photo editing program, just so the colors were just a little bit off. I think as they had gotten older, they were a little bit off. But another thing I also did, the one in the bottom right, is it's a picture of a picture. So I took a picture using my iPhone and then just cropped it and printed it out that way. It's definitely not the best quality, and I don't think I would want to blow it up into a large picture, but for trimming it down to a 3x3 or printing it 3x4, even 4x6, it worked out really great. So taking a picture of a picture and then printing it off that way is a great way to use some of those older photos that we have. So for this top left pocket, I've added just a gold frame, and I think I'm going to type a little bit of journaling inside that pocket. As I'll show you in a second, I've already typed up quite a bit of what I wanted to say and my thoughts and feelings, so that's just going to be just like a fun little pocket. So I'm going through some of my supplies and figuring out what I want to use here. And I've grabbed some of these Dear Lizzie Daydreamer Flair. They're a little bit smaller, and I liked the smallness on the page instead of being large. So I've added one in there. I'm not sure if it's going to stay like that. And then my very favorite star paperclip, which if you've watched any of my videos before, they usually make an appearance somewhere on almost every page or Project Life spread. So I'm just trying out a couple little buttons and flair down in the left-hand corner. I'm not getting a really good feel, I don't think, for the sayings that are on there. I don't feel like they go with my page. I love the flair, but I'm thinking that I might want to add something a little bit different. So I stitched around the frame to give it just a little bit more texture and to make it stand out just a little bit more. And then here I just grabbed one of those Studio Calico wood veneer hearts, and I like that. It's pretty neutral and pretty basic, but I like the wood element, how it kind of goes with the rest of the page, and it doesn't stand out too much. I like to be able to see that gold of the frame kind of make the main appearance there. So there is that center part, which is going to kind of be in the middle between my photo and my white cardstock. I'm going to add something left in that top left pocket. I'm not sure yet, but if I get stuck on something and I know there's other parts of the project I want to work on, sometimes it's easier just to move on and come back to it. So here is my piece of white cardstock that I've trimmed down to be the exact same size of my photo, which is the same size of most of the pages in my art journal. And I grabbed out a roll of crepe paper, which is just crepe paper that you get from Party Store or Walmart or probably a grocery store. And I just cut off a piece, and then I just sewed it up to create a ruffle. So I know I had my white cardstock here, and I wanted to add a little bit of texture and something to the layer, to layer onto it, but I didn't want it to be too distracting. I wanted it to be pretty simple. So to make ruffles, you pretty much just change the resistance of or the tension of your sewing machine and just run it through your sewing machine, and it'll just spit out these beautiful ruffles at the back. So I'm kind of liking the white on white with just a little bit of texture there. And I'm going to use some of the gold glitter tape. This is from the My Mind's Eye gold glitter tape. I'm going to use some of this, and it's sticky, has that little clear plastic backing, and I'm going to layer that in kind of in the middle where my seam is. So I still want to have the texture from the crepe paper, and then I want my photo to kind of sit right on top. So I'm going to add a little bit of a piece of there, and I'm going to lightly stick it to my page. And since the crepe paper's a little folded, a little bumpy, it's not going to stay on there without hot glue or sewing it down. So right now I'm just going to run to my sewing machine and sew it down really quickly. So there you can see I just sewed the tape right down the middle and through the ruffled crepe paper, and I'm going to pop my photo right up on the top. So in my art journal, I know I'm not going to have, it's not going to let me have too many pages in there since I add so much texture and dimension to my pages, but I like that. I like the way things stand off a page or pop off a page a little bit, and I like adding ruffles and lots of layers, and that's kind of my little creative outlet. That's my favorite part of it. So I'm totally fine with having a gazillion albums that nobody ever has to look at. It's just for sheer entertainment. So I'm going to pop that right there on the page, and I'm going to grab my scissors. Since this is going to be on the left-hand side of the spread, I just want to trim off a little bit of that crepe paper edges right there to make sure it goes and stays in my album. I'm not really worried about the left-hand side as much as I just want to make sure that it's able to turn in the book. Just a few little strings. I'm going to cut those off. And I'm going to grab my book back. And so this is going to go on the left-hand side. And now if you're doing, I like a regular Project Life spread, it's really fun to add in large photos or even your own scrapbook page to go along with the spread or something like that. So you definitely can use this process for your Project Life album. So here's my journaling, and basically what I did is I just typed up a letter in Photoshop to my mom, and then I printed it out with a transparent background. So here I printed this on to overhead transparency paper, I guess is what it's called. I got it from my office supply store, and then the other one that was just to the left of it I printed on vellum. But I like the way the words over the page, you could still see the photos, and the vellum I felt like kind of clouded it up a little bit. It made it a little bit more opaque, not as easily to see. So I like the transparent feel, and I wanted to keep it like that. That was my son, who just was super interested in what I was videoing and had to come see for himself. And now I'm going to punch holes. And when you're punching holes for a book or an album or something like this, the easiest way to do it is just to use something that already has the holes. Take out another page that you've already used and just punch your little slots there. And make sure when you're punching your holes that your paper is facing the right way. So make sure if the holes are supposed to be on the left side, that the holes on your guide paper are on the left side, and if they're supposed to be on the right side, that you flip your page over and the holes are going to be the right way. So for this next one right here on the white piece of paper, I'm just going to want to make sure that I'm doing the holes. You see I flip my paper over there, that the holes are going the right way, because otherwise your holes will be on the wrong side. Okay, so those holes are pretty much all punched, and now most of this insert in my art journal is pretty much complete. Just going to pop that back in, and the only thing left is that top left pocket, and I'm not really sure exactly what I wanted to go in there, so I'm just grabbing a couple different things that may work. I don't have another photo to add, and I don't really want to add another journaling card or anything along that line. So I was just going to try, this is a printable from, or a die cut from a cut file. I'll get it right. So I just thought maybe if I could slide it in that little glassine bag, maybe I could add it in there. I liked the white, but then it felt just a little too bare in that pocket. So then I decided in the end what probably is going to work best is just for me to add a little label and a little sticker. So I grabbed out these Maggie Holmes gold words phrase stickers. So I think I'm going to add something on that back pocket. And I liked the way the gold coordinated with the other little pops of gold, the clothespin and the glitter tape and that frame. So I grabbed one of these Dear Lizzie Daydreamer stickers, and I'm just going to trim it up just a little bit, and I'm going to add one of these stickers, gold stickers, onto the label there. And I'm just going to use the back of the card that's already in there. Originally I thought maybe I could do 2 stickers instead of even adding the label, but I felt like it needed a little bit more color, which in the end you'll see that I ended up using that label, that sticker there. And I like the way that one looks. So I'm just going to slide that one right back in the pocket. And I think that that's pretty much finished. So you see I have the page on the left-hand side and the little photo there and the glitter tape, and use the pop dots to hold that in place. And then a little Project Life insert that I've trimmed down so it'll fit my cards and my photos. And then this is that transparency where I added my journaling. And then there is the large photo of my mom and myself. It's good sometimes just to get those words down on paper, you know, things that you've been thinking for a while, and having a reason like Heritage and History Month here at 2Ps was the perfect and great time to do that. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. Here's a few more looks at my finished pages, and I hope this has inspired you to get some of those memories that you have down on paper. If you have any questions or need any help with anything, just let me know. Have a good day.